to intentionally incorporate those different skills into the problems that you write and the activities that you do. And I was just about to skip your part, Riley. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No. So this, in the interest of time, this can be really quick, but something that that Jess and I really wanted to be clear about, one of our main objectives for today, was to talk about how these types of skills can be taught to lower level students. I don't know about what level some of your students are, but I know in my program, most of the people that I'm working with are considered ABE. They're not considered GED or pre-GED. They're a year, maybe 2 years away from being ready to take the GED. But that does not mean that they can't do this stuff. That doesn't mean that we can't build them there, that we can't bring this depth of knowledge into a curriculum for more basic math. So something really quickly that I think we can kind of just do as a group brainstorm is think about how we could take sort of a simple objective and bring it up to a level 4. So I'm going to take an example from, so earlier this table we talked about one of the problem that you came up with in the real world context section was having a chart that gave someone's salary over time, and someone had to look at the chart and figure out, how that person's salary changed, right? So that's a pretty simple, chart reading objective type question. So how could we bring something like that up to a level 3?
Ask them to explain it.
Right. It's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that. Ask them to
I didn't
explain
hear
it.
what he said.
He said ask them to explain it. So I would think reading a chart, taking points out, and then doing an operation with it would probably be level 2, depending on how the question was worded. But if you were asking them to justify it, that would be a level 3. There's another way that you could bring it up to a level 3. I think. So another one of the things that we talked about is with level 3 is when they have options and they have to figure out the best way to solve the problem. So another thing you could do probably would be to take the chart or whatever it is and write the problem in such a way that there's a couple different ways for them to figure it out. And so maybe the information would be in a chart and a graph, and they'd have to decide which one was a better representation of the information or something like that. And then what about a level 4? How could you take chart reading to a level 4 type critical thinking?
Oh, you'd have to go out and research salaries over time.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's a really good, you could take maybe 2 people in the class have 2 different career goals, and they would have to research those, a potential salary for those career. Maybe they'd have to make their own chart and.
Lots of labor statistics out there.
Yeah,
average
find
salaries
statistics.
over time for certain occupations.
Absolutely.
I think if you introduce the concept of having one exemption versus 0 exemption, that would put it to another level because the calculations would all change in the salary.
Right, yeah, that's a really good point too. Good. Good, so the idea is just that no matter what kind of math you're doing, we want to, even though the GED doesn't cover those levels necessarily, those higher levels, they're good teaching tools, and they're going to help students be more likely to get those level 2, level 3 questions that are on the test.
I was even going further with this and even use digital literacy, bring a copy of TurboTax in, and then give them I just brainstormed off the top of my head, and then actually using a tax preparation program that they can actually go through, give them a fake salary, work through the different exemptions and stuff like that.
Yeah.